me get your full name.
Nicholas Howe,
What's your date of birth?
12/18/1979.
You reside there at 99 Olympia Drive with anybody else?
My girlfriend,
What's her name?
Amber Bowman.
How long y'all lived there?
We've only been there for 2 or 3 weeks.
You know what you're here to talk to us about, right?
Sure.
Okay. What is that?
Crystal Rogers.
Okay. How do you know Crystal Rogers?
She's my brother's girlfriend.
They have a child together, that right?
Yes.
Okay, what's his name?
Eli.
How's Eli?
About 2.5.
Your brother's name is Brooks, is that right?
Yeah, Brooks Howe.
How often would you see your brother and her, or just her? Or...
I mean, I passed her on the street, and that's about it, you know. I mean, my brother's got a bunch of rental properties and stuff, and I mean, I just don't see I see him on the road, and that's about it, you know.
Okay.
He's so busy, we don't hang out much anymore.
Okay. In the 2 to 3 years they've been dating, how many times have you been around Crystal?
I've been down there to this house, I don't know, maybe half a dozen times or so.
What do you know about their relationship?
I mean, they didn't really argue or anything in front of me, if that's what you're getting at. They usually seem pretty happy to me.
What's the name of your business?
It was House Properties, but it no longer exists. I dissolved it
Okay.
in 2014.
And your brother, what's the name of his business?
House Rentals.
Okay. How many rental properties do you think he's got?
I'm going to guess between 80 and 100.
Did you ever have any conversation with her? Or?
No, I mean, I didn't. I never had any issues with Crystal, but I wasn't around her that much. I mean, she seemed like a pretty easygoing person to me.
How long have you been to PD?
I was with Lebanon for about 1.5 years. I think I've been here for about 8.5, 9, something like that.
Okay. What year did you come on in Lebanon?
2005.
Any trouble since you've been to PD with anybody? What shift are you working right now?
First shift.
How long have you been on that shift?
Just changed it not too long. We went to 12-hour shifts. It's probably been in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 months, maybe.
What were you on before that?
I was working 4 to 2 o'clock in the morning.
When's the last time that you had seen Crystal?
I'm sure it was sometime I seen her just driving around out on the road, but I don't really remember where I was at or.
So you knew her. You knew her enough to know her car, to know where her car was.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What kind of car did she drive?
A maroon Impala.
So how often would you see her out on the road? I mean, was it obviously more often than you saw her in person? But...
Probably maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
So the last time you remember seeing her, she was in a car driving around.
That's what I'm assuming. I'm not 100%, but I'm almost for certain.
The last time that you actually were physically in the same room with her, when was that?
It's been a long time ago. I don't really remember.
We were talking Christmas, Thanksgiving, before that, after that.
Could have been Christmas, Thanksgiving.
The last time you saw her was within the last
Probably within the last couple weeks, maybe.
couple of weeks. Did she have a job?
I think at one time she worked up at the fast food mart on Bloomfield Road, but that's been some time ago.
When you would get together, as you know, just you and her and Brooks, or a bigger part of the family, where would you all get together at?
Yeah, I don't know that we ever really got together. I mean, obviously she's been over at Mom's house, and I've seen her out there, but I mean, that's been a while back.
Is your mom's house down, is it by y'all's family farm?
Mm-hmm. Past Ballard Road.
Okay. You don't remember the last time that you had seen Crystal. How about, when did you find out Crystal was missing?
Yeah, within a couple of days.
How did you find out?
I really don't know. I mean, I don't know if Brooks had mentioned it or I saw it on TV. It was all over Facebook and everything.
But he never called you and told you she was missing, or
no,
nobody else in your family called and told you that she was missing?
Called and asked, had you seen her?
Yeah.
Was it unusual for her to take off like that, or?
I know Brooks had said she'd taken off to her, I think her mom's before, but I didn't know anything about that either. So.
I mean, I know when you get baby mama drama, you try to stay out of it, but I mean, you would think if he was really, concerned that he would, hey, my brother's a police officer, he knows what to do, let me call him and see what's going on.
Yeah, it's not like that.
What do you think about your brother? He took a polygraph, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the results of the
I
polygraph?
don't think they would have passed him no matter what, I mean, I think he went up there and did well, and I think that's just what they said, I mean.
Why would you say that it wouldn't matter?
Yeah, it just seems like it doesn't matter what he does or says, everybody's kind of like pointing the finger at him, and I mean, actually that would be natural, but,
Sure.
it's just, at this point it doesn't matter what he does, he looks like the bad one, so that's the reason why I feel like I do.
So you talked to him on that date that he was having the interview, or you called him?
I think I called him once, and I think the task force guys had his phone, and then at some point I guess they gave him the phone back, and then I got a hold of him. but he'd been up here several hours. You know, it wasn't like I just interrupted right from the very beginning. I thought, what the hell are they doing? You know, I'm asking the same questions over and over. What are these guys doing to him?
How did you know he had been up here for several hours?
I guess I think he called me.
Okay, so he called you before and said, "Hey, I'm going to the PD. I'm getting ready to get
Yeah, I
interviewed."
think,
And what did you tell him at that point?
I said, go over and be cooperative, you know. Say what you mean and mean what you say, and just, you know, do the best you can.
You've been out to the farm, and do y'all go out there together to work, or do you?
Hardly ever. I mean, he does his thing and I do mine.
Okay.
There's a big lake out there with fish. Yeah, we got 4-wheelers. It's just a place to go to and relax. And
How many acres is it?
250 to 300 maybe.
Been in the family for a long time, or?
Yeah. Yeah, my grandfather, I don't know what year he bought it, but I mean, it would have had to have been probably 50s or 60s, something like that.
When was the last time, I guess, you and him were out there together?
I would have been out there within the last couple weeks, you know. I mean, we run into each other out there, you know. I mean, he takes stuff out there. You know, he's got a pile of stuff out there that, you know, from his building sites, he'll pile it up out there instead of taking it to the landfill. And I guess where he's too tight to pay the landfill bill, you know. But we run into each other, but we're both so busy, we just kind of pass.
Well, you said within the last couple of weeks. Would it have been before or after Crystal went missing?
I've seen him out there after.
After.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it? Do you specifically remember what day?
I don't. There's a camera out there. I mean, you know, it can be checked.
Okay. What do you normally keep in your trunk? What's a normal duty setup? Like, I know ours looks like, you know, evident store exploded in our trunk.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, I've got a cardboard box back there, and I mean, it's got, you know, say there's flashlight. So we're obviously rechargeable flashlights in the car. There's many forms. There's a PBT, fire extinguisher. There's a department issue in the car. There's a bag up front with all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in those cars.
When the PD took your car from your house, what was in the trunk then?
Well, it's this morning grand jury came up that with just all the stuff I just told you. But there was also one other thing I can remember that was there was just a regular blanket for moving.
So do you remember going out to the farm the evening of July the 8th?
I don't, but I very easily could have been out there.
You said there was cameras out there on that house.
Mm-hmm.
Would have the cameras would have caught your car following Brooks
Wouldn't
on the way
surprise,
out to the.
wouldn't surprise me.
Did you leave first or did he leave first?
I don't know.
Let's go back. You remember talking to your brother on the phone when he was up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do after you got off the phone with him?
I really don't know.
Is there any reason that there'd be any in the trunk of your cruiser?
No reason at all.
So you don't transport any biological evidence on a regular basis? When's the last scene that you had somebody that was, how long has it been?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure it's maybe a wreck or something like that. That's been a long time ago.
I mean,
I can tell you, there's no truck in my cruiser. I can guarantee you that.
Now, what about on anything that was in your trunk? Would there have been on anything that was in your trunk?
There's no way. Absolutely none.
Now, what about the blanket that was in your trunk?
No way.
How many days do you think the blanket was in your cruiser trunk before Thursday when they took your cruiser?
Man, I hate to even put a number on it. I mean, I really don't know.
1, 2, 3, 10. How many things?
I'm not even put a number on it. I can't. You know.
But you know, do you know for a fact it was after they filed a missing persons report that you picked it blanket
I
up?
don't even know that for a fact.
Well, when did you move the furniture?
I've got a dozen rental properties. I've been moving stuff out of, you know, the garage over there for 2 or 3 weeks now. You know, I've got
the garage where?
104 Glenview Drive.
Who have you talked to about this so far? I mean, obviously we're talking right now.
Just the people at the grand jury.
That's the only other person you've talked to about this investigation
Mm-hmm.
is the grand jurors and us 3 people in this room.
Yeah. Very little with Chief. I mean,
Did you talk about it with your girlfriend?
very little. I mean, like I said, we didn't really hang out with Crystal or anything. So I mean, I haven't went into any detail with her.
Do you talk to any of the other officers here? I mean, y'all are obviously
I've been off work. He just put me on paid leave or it's been administrative.
You have or you haven't talked to your brother about this case?
I haven't. There's very little to nothing.
How did the conversation go when he said he called you and said, "I'm on my way up here to the PD to be interviewed"?
I can't remember how he stated it. He just said they were going to interview him. And that may have been like his
I
second
mean,
interview.
did he seem nervous? Was he scared? Was he asking for advice? Was he confiding in you? Like, what was he?
Brooks, just same old Brooks.
The 10th, which would have been Friday, this past Friday.
The day after they came to her car.
Okay.
About 8:30 p.m. that night, Keith Rogers was over at Brooks' house getting some clothes for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Brooks got a call from you talked for a second, and he hung up the phone and told your mom, hey, we gotta go, Brooks, or Nick needs our help. Do you remember what that was about?
I have no idea.
Okay.
So you didn't call him on Friday and ask him for any kind of help?
I don't recall.
Do you remember going over to Brooks's house and unloading some stuff out of your trunk into your mom's car?
I don't know that I've unloaded anything from the cruiser.
So going back to the Friday night, would there be anything on your phone or your phone records that would show a call between you and Brooks at 8:30 p.m. on Friday?
Your guess is as good as mine. You won't welcome to check it.
So do you have your phone with you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Where's it? Is it home?
It is.
Okay. Would you be willing to let us download it? Put it on the cell right?
Just copy the contacts of the phone.
Yes.
Call them.
It'd take an hour or two. I mean, it obviously wouldn't be right this minute. We don't have a cell right here with us. But
No, and you don't have a cell phone with you. What kind of phone do you have?
iPhone.
Is it a 4, 5, 6, 6 plus?
I think it's 4 or 5.
So that night after you called your brother, told him to leave, or told him to be careful or take care of himself, et cetera, et cetera. Did you all meet up anywhere?
Not that I recall. I don't think we did.
Well, you talked about the videos out there at your the house on the corner of Pascal Ballard.
Mm-hmm.
That video does show you and your brother going out there, arriving at the same time, right behind each other.
Mm-hmm.
You got witnesses that said they remember passing both of you on 49.
Mm-hmm.
He was in front, you were behind him.
We didn't make a special trip out there together, if that's what you're getting at.
I mean, that's just
Just a coincidence that y'all showed up at the same time to go out there.
and then y'all were out there till right at 11:22. You start out and stop down at the end of the drive, back up, and then y'all leave out together.
What's that name you said? I backed up, or
You started down the drive and stopped, and then backed back up the hill a little bit, and then I guess I don't know if you're waiting for him or what, but y'all left together.
I don't remember that, but
Well, I mean,
we know you arrived together and you left together. We know that.
we got some issues.
okay.
You're aware that when the cruiser was taken from you, that it was actually taken to the Kentucky State Police Forensic Central Laboratory.
That's what I assumed. Chief would have done.
Okay. So we all excrete bodily fluids, sweat, anything, saliva. All that is what would fluoresce. Why would your trunk look like a Smurf if they sprayed it? Why would it fluoresce?
It looked like Chernobyl. There's a couple spots in your trunk in that blanket. I mean, just lit up like Chernobyl.
Why would that?
There's not going to be in the trunk.
Okay, well, I'm not saying, I'm talking about other bodily fluids.
I don't have a clue. There shouldn't be any bodily fluids in the trunk.
I mean, there's only one way bodily fluids can get into the trunk. That's if a body's nearby, right?
That's what I would assume.
Okay. Or unless, somebody puked in your trunk or something like that.
I don't think that happened.
Don't think that's the case.
Somebody peed in your trunk or.
No.
So why would that be if that blanket, when they looked at it at the lab?
I've got no explanation for that. I don't have, none whatsoever.
Did your brother ever call you and say that he'd done something to Crystal?
No, he did not.
You're saying that the biological fluids that they found in the car.
Are you for certain there's biological fluids?
Yes, I'm absolutely certain that
They
biological fluids in there.
they wouldn't cut holes in your trunk liner and take it for further testing if it wasn't biological fluid.
When you get that car back and see that car, it's going to have stuff cut out all over it.
And that blanket lit up like Chernobyl.
That
When
blanket
they
ain't
sprayed it.
coming back.
Well, there's no way that none of her biological fluids or anything's going to be on that blanket or anything. I don't know where the stuff came from, if it is there, but it's not hers.
So you never helped him move a body?
I did not.
Never helped him move any evidence.
Never.
You're not being honest with us about this, okay?
I've been 100% honest. Okay, and it's obvious you've got plenty of experience. You guys are squared away, but I can tell you, there's no way it happened the way you said it. It sounds logical.
It's very logical, Nick,
Yeah,
because that's what happened.
But no, it didn't happen that way. It didn't.
Okay.
How do you know it didn't happen that way?
Nick, you can't remember what happened.
Well, he's saying Brooks did it, and I was in on it. There's no way.
Were you there? Were you
Well, then
able
what
to see
happened?
that Brooks didn't do it?
No, but I know him well enough to know that.
Well, I know lots of people, okay? I know troopers that I've worked with for my entire career. And guess what? They're not troopers anymore. And I thought I could say
they
that
made a
about
mistake.
them. And I thought I could say that because you know what? We're all people. No matter what this says, no matter what we go to church and say on Sunday, no matter what that we appear like, everybody is a person, and every person can change in a heartbeat. Whether they choose to or not. Sometimes things just happen. We make mistakes.
I haven't made any mistakes, and I have been 100% honest.
What about he rents a lot of property? I'm sure he rents to some shady people.
Oh, I bet he does.
They ever found any indoor grows or anything in any of his properties?
No, not that I'm aware of.
You know they do that around here a lot. You know,
Oh,
rental
yeah, most
properties.
definitely.
Flags, anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, Nelson County's full of. I mean,
Any chance that he'd be involved in something like that?
no way. Bruce doesn't fool with any kind of. He doesn't drink. No way.
I mean, there's certain people that are involved in that kind of stuff that aren't involved in it
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They're in it for the money.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he makes plenty of money.
What do you think should happen to somebody? Say they killed somebody in the heat of the moment. Just kind of they didn't really mean to.
I think they're just as guilty as somebody that killed them anyway. Yeah, I don't have any patience for that kind of. I mean, she's got kids and stuff, and I mean, anybody that could have anything to do with her disappearance or possibly kill somebody, man, they need to be dealt with.
What about somebody that comes in after the fact that didn't have anything to do with the killing or the disappearance? And
I think they're just as guilty.
do you think any of them should be given a second chance?
No, I don't believe in taking chances. And I'm a pretty conservative guy, on a lot of issues, and I mean, man, anybody could do anything like that. Just we don't need them here on Earth.
So if Brooks did do this, you feel the same way?
Most definitely.
If Brooks did it, he'd be dead to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have another thing to do with him. I mean, anybody that's that despicable and can just disregard the kids, and I mean, that's a pretty nasty person. About as bad as it
Even
gets.
if there was a reason, if that person thought they had a reason.
I can't think of one reason in my head that could justify something like that.
Well, when could you take the polygraph exam?
I'll be off the next few days, so I mean,
So I mean,
if that's something.
if we got one set up for tomorrow, or got one, well, it's kind of late now to set one up tomorrow, but maybe if we got one set up for the next couple of days, would that be something that you could do?
Why don't we just shoot for Monday?
Well, what if they're,
What is today?
today is Wednesday, so we got Thursday and Friday still before they close down for the weekend.
Okay.
Then
Well,
it all depends on their availability.
Yeah, I mean, they might have,
I mean, I've got a lot of stuff going on. I just moved and everything. Let's just try to shoot for Monday, and if that'll make you guys happy, then I'll be more than glad to do it.
Well,
I don't have a problem with it.
the thing about it is, we go up there and take the test. You're telling us that you're being honest,
Yes,
right?
100%.
And you're 100% on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know that I've sat here and talked to people in that same seat that you're in right now that have told me they're being 100% honest, and later on I find out they're not. Okay? Is that a fair assessment?
Most definitely.
Okay. So you sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in right here, and somebody sitting there in your chair telling you that same thing.
I'm skeptical as you are. I'm probably more skeptical.
The polygraph is something that can help us. It's a tool. We don't use it in court, but it's a tool.
Yeah.
All right.
If that makes you feel, whatever it does for you, it'll be fine.
But agreeing to do that now, you're not going to change your mind later.
No, I'll do it.
You're going to be a man of your word, and you're going to take polygraph.
You got it.
If we set it
Yes.
up. Yes, sir.
Hang tight.
Yeah. Be right back. All right. You want anything to drink?
No, just be wrapping it up though, because I'm fixing to head out.
Okay.